Is there room for reconciliation among Team Unity partners? In recent times, coalition partners have been speaking openly and publicly about their discontent with issues raised about the leadership of Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris by his own cabinet colleagues, prompting critics and observers to surmise that Team Unity is on a path of no return. On Thursday at his press conference, Premier Mark Brantley was asked by SKN Newsline if there is room for reconciliation with Dr. Harris.
The question is simply this: is Team Unity, as currently constructed, still a viable coalition? Is it still functioning? Because the Deputy Prime Minister has said publicly that he has not even shown up to cabinet meetings for the last 2 months. Is Team Unity still functioning? In your view, is there a path of reconciliation between the CCM PAM and the PLP? Because the PLP seems to be the main instigator here. Can the two parties, the two larger parties in the coalition, make any amends with the People's Labour Party and the Prime Minister to continue the coalition as is? Or is there a path of no return for Team Unity?
It is a difficult question you've asked, but I am not yet quite at the point where I'd like to reach in my own spiritual life, because that is an ongoing journey. But I'm always reminded in the Bible of the chief persecutor of Christians, was a man called Saul. And the Bible tells us that on the road to Damascus, when he was headed to persecute God's people, he had a moment on that road to Damascus and converted and became Paul. And so the chief persecutor became God's chief servant and vessel. And what that tells me is that change is always possible, that there is in all of us the capacity to do better, and that all of us who believe we are now Saul have the capacity to become Paul. And with that, I will therefore say that I never give up. I always feel that there's an opportunity. But to get to that place, all of us will have to humble ourselves, renew our commitment to what we agreed, and renew our commitment to the people of our country, because at the end of the day, it's not about us. You change the figure who's standing at this podium now, the principle should be the same.
Prime Minister Harris was taken to task by Deputy Prime Minister Sean Richards and Premier Mark Brantley. They both alleged that Dr. Harris is not keeping the promise he made to not seek a third term as Prime Minister and pay a fair share of CBI revenues to Nevis. The Prime Minister, in response, said a third party would have to be brought in to help settle the division of CBI revenue to Nevis. He also said he has previously stated he does not intend to seek a third term as Prime Minister. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.